Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Time for the Q&A, time for the monologue, and after doing some more adding, subtracting, some difficult division and multiplication, we realized we're in our 10th year. But let's celebrate it as if we put in the full 10 years. I mean, haven't we put in the overtime?
Congratulations! And here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Merry Christmas. Welcome to America, land of the free, home of the brave, the birthplace of the Constitution that other nations have strived to, do their best to copy it. Declaration of Independence, where other nations have used it verbatim, even to bring about communism. Good golly. It's that kind of a world, folks. Shit has hit the fan. Now, before we get into the monologue, get your questions down below. I think we've got Jolene in the studio. Man will be here shortly. People are trickling in. It is a whacked out Wednesday. I want to share a story with you guys, though. I'm at work, and you guys know that I do a little bit of what's known as contracting, right? I'm a contractor, not a contract assassin. Everyone calm down. But I look at my phone and it says emergency something, something, something. I'm like, who the hell dialed emergency from my phone, right? It's been in my pocket. Well, I go out and I'm sitting in the car. And earlier this morning, I talked about awareness, right? Looking around you, finding danger. And I'm in this area where there's no danger. It's a very safe area. But I see a police car, a little SUV pull up and around. I thought, I never see police in this area. What the hell is going on? I haven't heard any gunshots. And he's parked like 4 houses down from the location that I'm at. And my radar's up. Like, I'm paying attention. I'm like, okay, weird scenario. Should not be a policeman anywhere near here. There's no gunshots, no screaming and yelling. I haven't broken any laws. And pretty soon I see this guy walking down the street towards me, right? Cop. He's like a house away, and I'm like, he looks like the fucking Terminator cop from the Terminator. He's kind of skinny, kind of tall, got some glasses on, some mirror sunglasses. He's kind of walking like a robot. I thought, oh shit, here we go. I can feel it, right? And he gets closer, and I step out of the vehicle, look over the hood, and he looks right at me. He says, I almost said my real name. He says, John Smith, and I was like, yes, that's my name. How do you know my name? How can I help you? What are you doing here? It was weird as hell, totally freaky. He says, your phone, someone hit the emergency thing. We just wanted to check and make sure you're okay. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good. No emergencies. Must have been a pocket dial. I didn't say butt dial because, don't want to get in trouble for breaking YouTube guidelines. Anyways, I was like, how do you know who I am? He says, well, last year there was an incident you were involved in, and we have your phone number on file now. And I was like, yes, there was the incident with the hit and run, and I was participating in running down the criminals. involved. And he said, yeah, that was it. And then he said, we shook hands. I introduced myself and said, you guys ever need any help? You just give me a call. And he just looked at me like, why would we need your fucking help? And I had the same look, like, why would I need your fucking help? Anyways, here we are. It is a Whacked Out Wednesday. Let's get into it. Get your questions down below. Send them in, email, carrier pigeon. The same way, folks. Every day you should be sending text messages, emails, comments, whatever you can. Group POW. Get those emails out to your congressmen, your senators in Washington at the state level and tell them what you think. All right. Now, something we've all been waiting for. This is very interesting, right? It's part of the SHTF. The left is eating themselves. The left are whacked out of their minds. The leftists, progressive, liberal, Democrat, I'm going to call them homophobes now because apparently the Democrat Party is full of homophobes. Anyways, the Paul Pelosi attack. Audio, police cam, body footage, right? The body cam footage and stuff. Well, it's all in court now, folks. I mean, you want whacked out. Listen to this, right? DePape, who was the guy who hammered Paul Pelosi in various parts of his body. Yeah, that guy. And this is what he told medics and officers at the scene, quote, I'm sick of the insane fucking level of lies coming out of Washington, D.C. I came here to have a little chat with his wife. I didn't really want to hurt him, but this was a suicide mission. I'm not going to stand here and do nothing, even if it cost me my life. Well, CBS reported that was, what DePape said. And then apparently the interaction between DePape, the nudist left-wing, Haight-Ashbury, Berkeley, hippified communist, escalated things with Paul Pelosi, which ended up with, Paul getting hammered about his body. Now, here we got this quote. When officers arrived on the scene, they encountered an adult male and Mrs. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Why would they even say Mrs. Pelosi's husband, Paul? I mean, this is what San Francisco Police Department Chief Bill Scott, that's what he told reporters. When officers arrived on the scene, they encountered an adult male and Mrs. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Why don't they just say encountered an adult male and Mr. Paul Pelosi? Why even bring Mrs. Pelosi into this? Fucking weird. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. So the cops show up and they both got a fucking hammer? The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Is there a way to non-violently assault someone with a hammer? Well, I guess if you're a left-wing lunatic, maybe that's possible. I mean, how many times does Andy Gdew, I can't say his name right, the LGBTQ anti-Antifa reporter, how many times has he been beaten and the people that beat him, I guess, don't go to jail? They just continue beating him senseless and giving him brain damage. Anyways, the chief continues, our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid. Boy, these guys all deserve a fucking merit badge for being good little peeps. Why didn't they pull their guns when they saw two people in the middle of the night, probably under the influence of drugs and looking strange since they were, naked? That part didn't make it in the story. Two naked dudes in the middle of the night holding hammers after the police have been called. Shouldn't they have pulled their sidearms, their pistols, their pistolas and their guns and said, hey, you drop those things or we're going to have to shoot you, right? Why didn't they shoot them for holding deadly weapons? Would that be white Democrat privilege there in San Francisco? Interesting, huh? I'm sure if I was holding a hammer in my underwear at 2 a.m, standing in a kitchen with a busted window, I think the police would have a lot to ask me. Anyways, along with his hammer, The ding-dong hippie nudist had zip ties, and he, I guess, was going to take Nancy hostage. So he smashed in Paul's rear door, right? That's how he got in, right? So again, how did DePapi know Paul? How did they know anything at 2 a.m.? How did they have this little discussion? This is a little bit gay to be happening the way it did it not? I mean, gay. Isn't gayness a good thing these days? Isn't that like a resume enhancer for the Democrats? Gay, and gay. Hammer time, backdoor entrance, gay, and gay. Yeah, folks. Whacked out Wednesday in St. Louis at a Kentucky Fried Chicken. The restaurant ran out of corn, so a drive-through customer shot the KFC worker. It's not like he didn't have the chicken tenders or the chicken surprise or the chicken basket or the extra seasoning or the crispy recipe. They just didn't have the corn. I'm sure they still had the mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm sure they still had the biscuits and butter. I'm sure they still had the famous KFC coleslaw. So why did he have to shoot him? Folks, wait until there are real food shortages, and we're going to see some serious shit. Serious shit. Now get this, folks. Jeremy Brown, the former Green Beret who had an outstanding military record, ran for Congress. Right? Special Forces, Green Beret dude, who was arrested by the FBI because he refused to be their snitch and bitch, and he exposed the FBI for trying to recruit him. And then they arrested him for January 6th. The conclusion that some are drawing is that, well, the trial of Jeremy Brown is going to have long-lasting, very negative implications for you and I, for patriots and for veterans. Because, well, they found him guilty. Even though the FBI appears to have planted evidence and lied, they don't throw out the whole case. I mean, literally. How much lying do we have to take as Americans? When is enough from these fucking people? Folks, all patriots and all veterans to the FBI, to the government, are terrorists. Unless for them you become a mole, a stooge, an ass kiss, or a butt buddy to the homo leftules inside the FBI. Not a good scene. Not a good scene. Now, wackos. I mean, are you noticing kind of an LGB theme here? Well, get this, folks. In Canada, they've changed the definition of team in team skating to allow any two skaters to compete in the name of gender diversity. I mean, doesn't skating already have enough gay people? And to you lib girls out there who aren't watching this because they hate me and they wouldn't listen to me for 5 fucking seconds anyways, to the lib girls out there, bye-bye to women in team skating sports. I mean, gay or not, these men, or even if they identify as women, these testicle-having men are going to do more triple luxes and quad jumps than any woman ever could because, well, they're biologically men. I mean, are we gonna be treated to skaters now? With bulges? One wearing a little tutu with a bulge, sticking his leg up over behind his ears, so we can all get a big old bulge shot. I mean, once again, David Mulvaney is Biden's transgender activist. That's right. That is not a girl, folks. That is an XY chromosome person pretending to be a girl. And he says, we want to normalize women having bulges. So thank you, Canada, for chasing men even further away from skating sports. I know that if we were going to watch it at all, it was, because there's some cute girl and spinning through the air. But now we don't know who the girls are. And we certainly, as men, don't want to see a bulge go swing by the camera. I mean, how many? I mean, guys, be serious. Be honest, because we're stupid guys. How many times did we wonder, man, if she just spins really hard, will her boobies fly out of that thing? We're just waiting for it. Never happens. Unfucking believable what is going on, folks. Now, let's get a little serious on this whacked out SHTF Wednesday Day. In Britain, a parliamentarian, what we would call a representative, a minister of parliament, has claimed, right, that a prominent British Heart Foundation leader has ties, has connections with big pharmaceutical. In other words, the companies that made the Jim Jones juice that is being given to people, forced on people in England, they're connected. That's right. British Heart Foundation leader has a connection to Big Pharma. Here we go. One hand washes the other. So the British representative to their version of Congress says that the evidence of the mRNA juice and heart inflammation, that is myocarditis, pericarditis, heart issues, cardiac arrest, sudden heart death, explosion syndrome, that the British Heart Foundation leader has covered up evidence showing that this was known. I've told you, folks, this technology called mRNA, right, memory RNA, where they go in, used to be called gene therapy, where they literally used, folks, when gene therapy first came out, they used a virus that had the new RNA package. The virus would attach itself to a cell, whatever that cell it was programmed to go find, and then inject its new RNA into there and take over. In other words, reprogram cells. That was gene therapy. Does that sound anything like what we've got? I mean, exactly what in the Jim Jones juice? Exactly what is it? Their mRNA. What is the delivering vehicle? It's not just, I mean, if there's mRNA floating around in your blood, it would just get filtered out. How is it getting into the cells and reprogramming them? What is the mechanism by which this thing is injected through the cell wall, which is a protective cell wall, to get into the cell, whether it's a red blood cell or cardiac tissue or pulmonary tissue? How is it getting from just floating around the bloodstream into a cell and changing its programming? mRNA. How is that happening? What is it? Is it a virus? Is it a virus? A lot of questions, folks. And by the way, this is a satire alert. This is not the news. I'm not a scientist nor a doctor. Just saying. Just asking some questions. These fucking people, folks, are serious liars. And we're in big, big, big freaking trouble with all the shit they're pulling. Unbelievable. Seriously, unbelievable. Now get this. Today, minding my own business, avoiding terminators on the street, the Federal Reserve comes out and raises interest rates yet again, another 0.5 percentage point, 50 basis points. And why are they doing this? To fight Bidenflation. That's right. To try and kill inflation. So I want to kind of point this out, folks. Raising the interest rates another 50 points will not help the economy. It'll hurt the economy. It's going to slow down inflation, folks. So what do you want? More inflation or shitty economy? More inflation or shitty economy? Inflation, shit. Inflation, shit. Economy, shit. What flavor of shit do you want on your sandwich? Because if they raise the interest rates, what happens? Car sales don't happen. Home sales don't happen. Right? Production doesn't happen. The cost of everything goes up. Well, that's inflation. Did I just get that right? Inflation causes the price of inflation is the reflection of everything going up. So in order to make more stuff available, so people aren't buying it, inflation goes up. Right? They want the cost of everything to go up. So if interest rates go up, you're going to be less apt to buy a house or as much house, less apt to buy a car. And so people will stop buying stuff because they can't finance it. It's too expensive to finance. And that'll make more materials available, which they say will increase the supply, right? Supply versus demand. It'll increase the supply, reduce the demand, and that will stop inflation. No, it won't. What will happen is companies that produce things will stop producing because they're not going to go out and use inflated prices to buy raw materials to make a bunch of shit that no one wants to buy because the interest rates are up. This idea that raising the interest rates at this point is going to stop the inflation. No. Companies are already squeezing the shit out of their bank accounts and not letting money get out. They're laying people off. They're firing people. They're shutting down operations. They're slowing production, stopping production, quitting production. Prices are not going to come down. Inflation is not going to come down. But the eggheads at the Federal Reserve, they will never, ever listen to me because this show is just satire. But what do you think? I mean, seriously, all the topics I've talked about, whether we're talking about Paul Pelosi and his butt and his hammer, whether we're talking about inflation, whether we're talking about myocarditis, what are your thoughts? Get them into the question session. If you're on the preparedmind.club as a member, if you're on subscribestar.com as a member, you're live right now. You can be here live Monday through Friday. Now, as reported earlier in the week, the Biden socialist regime has said that they want to send Patriot missiles to Ukraine. And I said, there it goes. The World War III escalation, right? Well, guess what? They said they were going to do it, and now it's confirmed. They wanted to think about it a little bit. I'm sure they, licked their finger, felt from which way the wind is blowing, tested, right? The people of America were like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Try it, And so they're like, okay, the American people didn't object and, try and burn down the White House. So I guess we're going to do it. Folks, this is a serious escalation. This is ramping up the tension between Ukraine and Russia, which means the tension between the United States and Russia, and the European Union and Russia, and NATO and Russia. Cue the war drums. And oh, by the way, the Army's recruiting numbers have dropped by 25%. 25%. And I'm sure the 3 out of 4 that still have decided to enlist, I'm sure the percentage of them is a lot higher if they like taking warm showers with other men. I'm sure the number of people who are a little light in the loafers, who are looking to try combat boots, I'm sure that these guys, if we want to call them that, are not the types that we really want to. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't good, strong, young, patriotic, red-blooded, real Americans enlisting in the Marine Corps and the Army and Air Force and Navy. I'm sure there still are. But I have a funny feeling, and by funny, I don't mean it's that funny, that our military is pretty damn weak. Do you think there's going to be a draft in our military? Our all-voluntary military, which has been all voluntary, well, since 1974, since the end of the Vietnam War. Is the Biden administration going to institute a draft if all of a sudden war breaks out and they need people to go to the front lines and die? Will all of the left-wing lunatics, will they line up and say, we're here to serve? We'll fight for you, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. We'll be here. We're coming. Hang on. Are they going to just run to the recruiter's office and sign up so they can go to the front lines and die for their commander in chief? I doubt it. How many of these left-wing men are going to go to the draft office and say, I identify as a girl. I'm not part of the draft, and you have to accept what I say my reality is. These people are fruitcakes, folks. I mean, it's continuing to come out. They're fruitcakes. Absolute fruitcakes. I mean, this is... it's just crazy. Where do we go next, right? Will they want to go fight for the new hero of the world, Voldemort Zelensky? Well, get this. Times Man of the Year, Times Jackass of the Year, is now in an ethnic destruction mode. He's destroying the citizens that he doesn't like, just like Hitler. But you better praise, folks, the little fruitcake for what he's doing, or people will think that you're pro-Russian, pro-Putin, and anti-Biden. Cracks me up. We're supposed to love our country, but what, right? Kiev, folks. Voldemort Zelensky is now seizing the assets of Russian Orthodox priests. If you belong to the Russian Orthodox Church in Kiev, in Ukraine, you are now going to have your assets seized. You're being watched very closely. Folks, this happened with the Jews in Germany under the Nazis. They painted them as the bad guys, evil, mean, naughty Jews. It's all your fault. And then they stole their money, robbed their stores, beat the hell out of them, put them on trains, shackled them, took them to concentration camps, killed them, stole the gold out of their teeth, folks. And then made these people, well, if they weren't already dead upon arrival, killed them with work. But it's okay. That was bad, right? We're supposed to say the Holocaust of World War II was bad. But the potential Holocaust that's coming under Voldemort Zelensky is just fine. The Holocaust in America of conservative, patriotic parents who the government under Biden has labeled as terrorists because they don't want their children being sexually assaulted in school. Yeah, we're in that. That's the room we're in now. Now we're in that room in America. My country, the United States of America, where teachers want to teach children all about butt plugs and alternative lifestyles, and that it's okay to cut off your genitalia and take puberty blockers and then go hang out with drag queens. What the fuck happened to school? We knew that they were already piss poor at teaching mathematics and teaching children how to read and write and think and some history. We already knew they were piss poor at it. They've just absolutely fucking abdicated their role as teachers and just said, look, we're here to groom you for sex. They may as well just come out, right? And they have they're just minor attracted persons in school. That's all. They're not pedophiles. They're minor attracted persons making excuses for them. Well, we need lots of diversity and acceptance in schools, except they do not accept anything that is traditional, strong European culture, right? Law and order, anyone? No, there's no room for that. There's no tolerance for the Constitution and our rights. These fucking people, folks. I hope you are prepared. I hope you're prepared. Now, down in Brazil, they have a communist takeover. Their judges, folks, think about what's happening in our country and then think about the judges in Brazil. They're calling for the arrest of Michelle Bolsonaro. That's right, the wife of the president. They want her arrested. Know why? Because she served meals to protesters. Where is the love for peaceful protesters in Brazil? Up in America, we had peaceful protesters. We had arsonist peaceful protesters. We had arsonist looters, and we had arsonist peaceful protesters, looting peaceful protesters, and murderous peaceful protesters. And the Vice President, Camel Toes Harris, and Nancy Pelosi, and Maxine Waters, and I'm sure Sheila Jackson Lee, and whoever Jabba the Hutt is down there in Georgia. I can't remember her name. Gosh, just thinking it, whenever I say her name, it gives me the willies. Anyway, these idiot Democrats, like Adam Schiff, they encouraged Antifa and left-wing idiots to commit crimes, right? They supported them. They got them out of jail. They had their charges dropped. All Michelle Bolsonaro did was give some food to hungry protesters. And they want her arrested. Oh, the communists do, folks. Yeah, it's that world, folks. Do you doubt that shit has hit the fan? All right. And I want to thank Mr. T again for getting me these great promos, intros, splash pages, etc. Thank you, Mr. T. Unbelievable. Getting the time to do anything, folks. I barely have the time to get here I'm in Studio A. Love Studio A. Crazy. Just crazy. Joe Biden up here in this lunacy zone. And I'm going to get to your question, so get them in now. I'm about done with my monologue, but there's so much to talk about. Joe Biden was having a speech, folks, about trans kids and racism and anti-Semitism and homophobia and transphobia. He just starts yelling and screaming. He's worried about that. He's worried about that. Hey, Joe, have you been to the border yet? Hey, Joe, where's your son Hunter's laptop with all the questionable activity? In other words, the crimes that Hunter committed on film. Hey, Joe, how much money came to you and your campaign from FTX? You fucking moron. We're just supposed to ignore reality, folks, and just get into this. Yeah, kids need to be more gay because, whatever. Just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. There's one more thing. I can't leave this one alone. See, it's just it. There's just more. Down in Brazil, folks, government agents were identified. They were imposters pretending to be Bolsonaro supporters, caught on camera, committing acts of terror. Well, gee whiz. Looks like the Brazilian communists, FBI and CIA, a whole lot. Seems like they got the same action plan down there. You guys, FBI and CIA much down there? Yeah, they do, folks. Expect more of this type of shit. Why? Because it works. It works. They lie, they cheat, they steal everything. Caught on camera, everything. I can't get enough. I can't get enough of what is going on and passing it along to you. Okay, my last thing, I promise, then we will do your questions. FTX. I said the letters, now I got to go into this. The company run by these 20-something little perverted, orgy-loving freaks should not have billions of dollars of investor money that they've thrown around, they've laundered, they've given it to Biden and other politicians who aren't giving it back. Get this. He's been arrested. He's been brought to jail. He's been told you can't be let go. You can't do it. We're not going to let you go because you're a flight risk, because you're a fruitcake and you've been already hiding out in the Caribbean. But now, folks, he's being taken to a jail. But he begged the judge to grant him bail. Now, you want his justification? He's a depressed vegan. You've got billions of dollars of other people's money that you've just commingled into your own accounts. And he hasn't managed to figure out that he should go see a doctor if he's depressed. Maybe talk to the doctor about his vegan diet. And could that have anything to do with his depression? Or is he now just depressed because the world knows who he is? Just the whole fucking thing, folks. The whole thing. These people are off the hook. They are whacked out of their minds. And as promised, let's do the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Oh, my head. These fruitcakes, folks. They just don't quit. They won't go away. In other words, we're going to have to fight back, folks. I'm not talking about violence. I'm just talking about fighting back against these wackos with our intelligence, our mind, and understand that we always have the secret hole card. Our Second Amendment, which reinforces our First Amendment, which is reflected in the ability of the Declaration of Independence to make some very harsh statements to those who are in charge. Let's do this. Jolene, who do we want to bring up first today? We got Bonnie Blue, 2A. And she says, all female bulges belong above the navel. I'm going to have to agree with you. If you're a female and claim to be one, you better have, well, now here's the thing, Bonnie. A lot of these trans types take hormones and get moobs, man boobs, or they get implants. So they've got bulges above the belt line, the belly, and the navel. The question is, it's, to me, it's unacceptable. It's unbelievable. It's an abomination in all truth. It truly is. We know it. You know it. I know it. I read it in a book somewhere. Thou shalt not be a fruitcake. It is prohibited because when you start allowing fruitcakes, it's an indicator of the level of morality and corruption that exists within a culture, society, and an empire. And that's where we're at now. And it's being shoved down everyone's fucking throats by the government itself. How far down? Right. So if anyone says, yes, you're being punished by God because you're an immoral people. No. I am not immoral. You're not immoral. Immoral people have taken over and they need to be punished. And God willing, it'll happen for them. They'll get what they've asked for, in other words, knowing that that is how things go. All right, Jolene, who do we got next? We've got Mick in the UK. G'day, Mick. Actually, no, that's Australia. Hey, how you doing, Mick? He says, hi, John. Will we still have fish on the menu, or will that disappear from the shelf just like animal meat? Well, you see, fish. I love it when someone says, I'm a vegan and I eat fish. I'm like, you just ate an animal. Right? A fish is not a plant or a root. You're eating an animal. An animal had to die. An animal had to, suffer, right? Getting scooped up in a net. A lot of these vegans or vegetarians, they like to pretend that fish is not meat. Fish is meat. And fish is actually good meat. It's full of vitamins and some minerals and a lot of omega-3 oils, right? Good oils and fatty acids and shit. The government will probably need to make fish illegal because it is healthy and good for us, provided you can get fish that doesn't have nuclear radiation in it or heavy metals. Yes, it's going to disappear from the shelf. They are going to force you, Mick, my friend, to eat bugs or a big shit sandwich or maybe some human flesh. Right? These people are that sick. If they weren't that sick, why are they pushing this? Now, here's the other thing that they're pushing. Literally ramming through injection molders, and that is Franken meat. It is 3D printed biosludge made to look like a meat product. They're trying to repackage this bacteria, yeast extruded biosludge and calling it meat. It's not meat. Just like the Impossible Burger is not meat. It's plant matter mixed with waste product coming out of the ass end of yeast. It's disgusting, Mick. Yeah, I recommend. Now, when I was younger, and I used to say, you know what, I'm not going to eat that Spam stuff. That's the worst part of the pig that they couldn't do anything with. So they ground up the shoulder, put some spices in it, stuffed it in a can, and shipped it to the Polynesians. Pacific Islanders, whether they're a Polynesian, Micronesian, or a Melanesian, they love that Spam. Well, it's because a lot of those islands, it took a long time to get electricity to them, and meat would spoil. So, hey, canned meat, Spam, they love it. They love it and eat it. And I've learned to partake in the Spam. And folks, Spam is like gold when those shelves have no meat on them. Will it be permanent, sporadic, part-time, or will the supply of meat just kind of like dwindle down and leave us with, bug guts and dry roasted crickets and cockroach sphincters and biosludge? Oh, and ground up children, because we should be eating humans too. There's some sick folks. When I say it, I it's tongue in cheek, but they're actually pushing for this. Literally pushing for this. When I go to the store and I go, I would like a steak. I see the ribeye and prime rib, and I see the porterhouse, and I'm like, sure wish I could afford those. But you get all these different cuts. When they start putting human being meat under plastic in the stores, are they going to tell us what part of the body they cut that off of some other human? Are they going to tell us whether it's male or female? The age? These are some sick fucking people, folks. And this is what they want for the rest of us. Let us move on. Jolene, who do we have up next? We've got, dun, 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 drum roll, brrr, East Texas Country Boy. He says, we got stagflation incoming. Yeah, that's correct. We got stagflation, stagnant economy, inflation, and, I went to the store because that's where the food is when you go to buy it. Went to the store and I noticed. I walked down the frozen food aisle to get some extra cold air, Just like open the door, stick your head in the freezer and like, oh my gosh, cold air. So hot outside. Anyways, and I looked at the Haagen-Dazs. All right. Now, these objects I'm going to hold are for relative speaking. Okay. This bottle of, liposomal vitamin C, oil-based vitamin C, ascorbyl palmitate, represents the size of the ice cream containers that used to be Haagen-Dazs. When I went and looked at the Haagen-Dazs, I was like, you're kidding me. It was like tiny. It's like half of what used to be there. It's like Haagen-Dazs, they used to serve like a quart of it. Now they got like a half a pint. It's like a single serving. It's like, where'd the fucking ice cream go? Crazy stuff. Yeah, shrinkflation, stagflation, inflation. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Good golly, right? Shit has hit the fan. Do you know where your money's at, your wealth is at, your food is at, your family's at? Do you know where the communists are at? Jolene, who do we have next? We got Heidi checking in. And this is a comment. She said, I saw where China is ready to send troops to help Russia. I wonder if that's a play to insinuate themselves into Russia. Very interesting. Putin is no dummy. And I don't think he's taking warm showers and holding hands with Xi Jinping. I just don't see that happening. I heard an idiot make a comment the other day discussing someone who was Russian that they knew. And this person said something like, yeah, Putin, he rushed in and got too far over his head. And I didn't say anything because there's no need to. There's no need for me to have a dialogue with idiots. And I thought, Russia retreated, huh? Okay, I see how this works, right? Anyways, if China was to help Russia, because Russia needs more help, more personnel, I am certain, Heidi, that Russia would fly them over the top of the country all the way to the Western Russian border or into the new states of Russia, the new federation territories, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, right? I don't know why Putin would need to fly them into Moscow and let them anywhere near his precious Kremlin, right? But China, I think, is all about bringing down the West. They want to see Europe take a shit. They want to see the United States of America take a shit. And for all intents and all purposes, Joe Biden, the European Union idiots are doing just that. They're bringing everything down. China is laughing their asses off when they're not putting out their own economic emergencies, their own social unrest issues, etc. Yeah, China's all fucked up, folks. Don't kid yourself. But they do have 1.4 screaming Chinese citizens, and a big percentage of those would love to get involved and directly attack the West. So China, are they willing to help Russia defeat Ukraine? It would serve China greatly to do so. It would reduce their population, allow them to exercise their military muscle, get some real world war training. Yeah, you bet. There's a lot of positives in there for China. And it won't cost Xi Jinping a whole lot. Let us move on if we shall. Great topics today, you guys. I'm glad you're bringing them. And we have a $5 tip from Moose on subscribestar.com. He says, Soylent Green, the movie, is the direction they want us to go. Oh, man. We had an intro, and our program only allows so much video, right? Files to be on tap. Like I'll just flash a few here.
I know we can. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republican. We have put together extreme MAGA Republican. There are public figures. The right that I pushed hard.
I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Anyways, yeah. Oh, by the way, he's no longer on TV. He's finally done. Trevor Noah, I think is his freaking name. He's done. He's gone. Thankfully, but the only thing he ever said that was funny was when he made fun of Biden. Anyways, we had the Soylent Green, and the character in there, the lead character, finds out that Soylent Green, a food product being fed to people in this dystopian, wild, screwed up world in the movie. And he finds out that it's people. Soylent Green is made out of people. And he screams, Soylent Green is people. You're being fed. He goes off, right? Do we need to see human flesh in the stores before we go off on these idiots? I mean, it's not just a maybe. It's not a joke. The joke is the fact that the world is going to stomach this. And that right there, my friends, is a pun. No, it's not a pun. They want to feed you people. They want to feed you shit, literally. They want to feed you bugs, literally. They want to feed you sludge. Where are they going to get that biosludge? What the fuck is this biosludge that they're going to use a 3D printer to make into some kind of meat product? right? It's just awful. And it's real. And they want to feed it to you, your children, your grandchildren. They want the population gone. They're injecting them with experimental garbage. But it's not brand new experimental garbage. It's experimental garbage that they've been working on and experimenting with for a couple of decades. And they know what it does. They have a good damn idea what it does. And I'll ask you this question again, right? mRNA, in order to get in and do its job, to reprogram your immune system, how is it getting through the cell wall? Every cell has a cell wall. Every cell has an armored cell wall to protect it from bacteria, to protect it from viruses. So how is this mRNA getting inside your cells and reprogramming your immune system? Something inside the injection has a vector of some sort that must be injecting the new mRNA into the cell and destroying the old mRNA. Right? Not only do they have to inject their own, but they have to destroy the other. So whatever it is that they've created, right? Does it inject a killer to kill the cell and then injects its own RNA and reprograms it? It takes a while to develop this shit, folks. Not good. Not good at all. What a fucked up world, I tell you. You couldn't be prepared more. You couldn't be prepared better. Right? If you didn't have, you need to be fully prepared. Now, the bald freak who worked for Biden's Department of Energy, Mr. Pup Handler, the non-binary LGBTQ guy, former nuclear waste officer, Sam the Fruitcake Brinton. The police have released in Las Vegas the booking photo from this freak. Wow. Went from superstar in the LGBTQ IP world plus world, is now been booked in. He's no longer employed, but he's shown us exactly what the political leftists are. They're a bunch of kleptomaniac, thieving megalomaniacs, and they think there shouldn't be any consequences for their actions. I'm really glad that Sam Brinton, the pup handler, has been arrested for committing felonies, folks. Right? He was caught stealing a lady's bag at Las Vegas airport. Yeah. When is Hunter Biden going to be arrested for his crimes? Just asking. Just asking. How hard is this to get justice, right? I'm glad that Sam Brinton is being investigated. I'm glad he's being charged with crimes. I hope he gets a fair trial by a jury of Americans. How much do you think he's going to play into the, I'm just a little girl and I'm all scared and I made a bad decision and can't we all just get along and I didn't mean to and it wasn't my fault and Trump did it and I'm being set up? Unbelievable. Folks, the hits are going to keep coming. All right. You know, we're fighting this battle, you and I. Who is on our side fighting for us? I know Trump wants to. I know a lot of congressmen want to. I know a lot of senators want to, but who is really out front? Is it Elon Musk? Is it Trump? What? So, well, I'm not looking for a charismatic leader to save us, right? I don't need a savior. We just need political unity and movement. How about this? How about this for a concept? Freedom and liberty. There you go. The model, the Declaration of Independence, right? The armor and weaponry, the Bill of Rights. Now, President Trump today came out and said he's going to be making a major announcement tomorrow. Folks, I am sick of major announcements, whether they come from Musk or Trump or any of these people. I want them to bring on real action. Now, down in Florida, Governor DeSantis is doing real action, right? Passing laws to criminalize child grooming, punishing corporations who take advantage of their power and position, Disney, who want to start a bunch of shit, Disney, and they get their special privileges revoked. Good. Too bad for Disney. I'm tired of major announcements. I want some fucking action, right? Sending illegals to Martha's Vineyard, to the VP's house, sending them into Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York City. That's some good action. How about prosecuting federal agents or federal agencies? Go and just arrest everyone in the building for failing to do their job. Their failure to do their job on the southern border is costing American lives. It's causing crime to happen right now. If someone said, hey, there's bad guys down at the bank right now. They're robbing the bank. There are people in there robbing the bank. In other words, they're breaking the law, and the police are like, we ain't going to do shit about it. Well, Uvalde, Texas had a little piece of that over the last school shooting that they had there. How about if these agencies don't do their job, you send someone there and arrest them, because the consequences of them not doing their jobs is people are being hurt. People are dying. And if we can save just one life, we all need to lock down for 2 weeks to flatten the curve, because it'll save just one life. It's worth it. How about if you guys do your fucking jobs on the border, federal government? I'm not talking about the Border Patrol agents. I'm talking about the federal government under Biden that is not allowing the Border Patrol to close the frickin' borders and stop everyone. It's an invasion. I see this as a job for the military to stop. I do. Whether it's the National Guard or the Army or the Marines, get them on the border and just light that fucking border up. If you come across the border illegally at this time, because so many have, I consider it a military invasion by a what would we call this? A non-conventional military, an unconventional military, a terrorist organization that doesn't operate under a flag or a national identity. It's still an invasion. And by allowing it, you're allowing crime to happen. You're causing crime to happen. And that, folks, these people should be arrested. I'm sick of major announcements. I want some fucking action. Okay, Jolene, we got some more comments in there. Bonnie Blue says, Mitch the traitor, talking about Mitch the Turtle McConnell. Mitch the traitor is trying to help Democrats push through all kinds of bullshit in an omnibus spending bill. What omnibus means, folks, is a big bundle of shit with a couple of questionably interesting bills, and then a bunch of crap. And they just make a big giant sandwich and say, let's just pass this and get it over with. The old guard wants to dictate before they retire in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's right, folks. The Democrats are leaving. They're getting their asses kicked out of Congress. But Mitch in the Senate, right? The Senate is still being controlled. And they're going to pass all the shit they can. Now, what's interesting to me is a Republican Congress could go in there and pass everything they want to revoke all this shit. Now, of course, Biden will just veto anything they do that's of any value. But yeah, they're trying to, every last one of these Democrats and rhino Republicans, folks, that gets into office, passes a bunch of garbage, does all the damage they can, gets all the money they can, then they just leave. They're like, oh, well, we did our time and served America. No, you served yourselves, you bunch of pricks. All right, Jolene, who do we have next? We have doing stuff with Nikki Rutro. Here we go. She says, is a boob job on a he, she called an implant or a transplant? You clever girl, you. Yes, that's a good one. So Darth Fader checks in. He's using a different account on YouTube, and I'm receiving what the typical sleepwalking normie is receiving. Every other day, I'm greeted with the shit-eating grin of cockholster Colbert and a smirking Jimmy Kibble. Headline is always mocking Trump and what is the deep state is throwing his way, or the Nintendo games. That the Nintendo games happened at the same time as the election, by the way. Yeah. It's meant to demoralize us. I only hope that this in your face taunting will be remembered, and that one day those who encounter these cucks can show them complete disapprobation. Nice word there. They need a lot more than our disapprobation. They need to be castigated. Not castrated. They can do that to themselves all they want, but castigated. They need to be exposed. They need to be excoriated. They need to be put down. Yeah, I'm not going to forget any of this, folks. There are very few in the media that have done anything good at all that would be remarkable, that would allow me to say, yeah, you tried. Someone like Maria Bartiromo has done a good job trying to get the word out. Tucker Carlson has proven to be pretty good. Sean Hannity, absolute failure. The rest of Fox News, absolute fucking failures. All the other media sources, absolute failures, because we know what they're about. They have been exposed. They've been colluding with the government. They've been colluding with social media. They've been colluding, folks, with massive corporations, international, global corporations that want to silence us and sell us, well, humans ground up into meat. They want to sell us taxes as well. We should pay it. Just fuck them all. I have to pay a carbon tax. How about if they pay a kiss my ass tax to me? All right, Jolene, what do we got next? We've got Eli in the Wolverine State. He says, why doesn't the Constitution have penalties for violating it? Great question. It's the highest law of the land, but there's no penalties for breaking such laws. Well, the Constitution should have penalties in there. Now, the Constitution isn't the extent of the law, right? It is the foundation of the law. But isn't it tricky how, yeah, if you violate the First Amendment, there's no penalty. But it goes to court, it gets tried, and they determine and say, but the government did there. Not allowed. Now, there are laws against violating people's rights. Like, for example, Derek Chauvin, who was a participating witness in the death, and some would say murder, of St. George Floyd. He violated, according to the jury and the prosecutor, he violated a citizen's rights. And so he's to be held accountable, and that's why he has 20 plus years in prison. I think that any law that is passed that is found to be unconstitutional, anyone who votes for that law should be penalized for it. They should be guilty of committing a crime, tried for it. Now, in other words, they don't get to pass a law until the law, or the bill, if you will, is examined and then tried in a court first. Right? Here's a bill. Let us not just send it to a legal left-wing fucking lying institution. How about if you take that to the Supreme Court? Any law you want to pass has to go to the Supreme Court, be reviewed, proven it's constitutional. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, it has to be constitutional before it can then go and be voted on in Congress and then go to the president. I agree. All these fucking people passing unconstitutional laws, the federal, state, county, and local level, they should all be in jail. Because their intent is the destruction. It's not just that they accidentally did it, which is almost forgivable, but they intentionally want to destroy and take away our rights. That's right. Yeah. Joe Biden wants our AK-14s. Fucking yo-yo. Right. Right. I mean, here's an example. One of my favorite, right? I know we've gone a little late. You're going to have to forgive me. Where the fuck is he?
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore. Hell yes, hell yes, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15. Hell yes.
That's right. Hell yes, we're going to violate your constitutional rights. Hell yes, we're going to violate the Second Amendment. Hell yes, we're the government and we know what we're doing. Hell yes, shall not be infringed. Doesn't matter to us. Hell yes. That's right. That man should be rotting in prison for treason. Let us move on, if we shall. and all those like him as well. Jolene, are we done? Did we wrap it all up? Do we got one more, two more, six more? Where are we at? We got Bonnie Blue. Who knew one mental illness might be accompanied by another, like kleptomania? Security clearance? Seriously, we're talking about Mr. Brinton again. Whoever issued that clearance should be fired. In other words, Mr. Brinton, the pup handling crossdresser, thank you, Jolene. Yeah. Let's see, that's a mental illness according to the psychology books. Is also a kleptomaniac. Yeah, funny how one mental illness should be a big fucking clue that there's other mental illnesses not far behind. And yeah, security clearance to work in his job in the Biden administration, in the Department of Energy at the top level. Fruitcakes, every last one of them, folks. Watch the movie Idiocracy, and you'll be surprised at how stupid they are and how much that ridiculous comedy is more like a documentary about what we're fucking dealing with. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Get prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Buy what you need. Right? Get your cans of Spam, your tuna fish, your meat products, freeze-dried, whatever you can get. Get your bulk starches like rice, potatoes, pasta, etc. Get it together. I'm not saying we're out of food. We're not going to run out of food next month, but you need to have this stuff. You need to food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Get it taken care of, folks. I'm going to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Welcome to our 10th year on the Prepared Mind channel. They haven't gotten rid of us yet. That's right. Social media can suck it because we are satire. And folks, to you, God bless. God bless America. And for all you veterans and patriots, Semper Fi.
Ho, 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 ho.